Good morning, good evening, good night. We have a Pentabox NFT live on the Web3 network today. Excited to be getting after the Web3 and NFT space with y'all. We're going to have a full hour with these fine gentlemen that you see up here. Glad to see everybody in the chat getting in early. We're going to do our best to share out the episode so we can get as many folks in here as possible. We do have a special guest, Jared from 8NAP and Collector's Corner, and doing a lot of stuff in with Squiggles Down. I mean, come on, like, you guys, Jared's just awesome. So we're going to have a talk with him in just a moment. Let's go around counterclockwise here and make our way around the Pentabox. Biggie Poppins, always nice to see you, sir.
Likewise, my friend. It's good to be here. It's what a kickoff today, man. I feel like I have to up my game after fucking Gift's show. I'm getting ready for my own, which I'll have to drop out a little bit sooner than I would have liked because we got Jared Paz and I got so many questions, dude, about art. Like, just, you know, blue chips are blowing up. Art Blocks is killing it. We got FX Hash. We got so much stuff, and I'd love to get maybe an update on 8NAP. It's awesome, dude. I'm excited. You can see
all right, big shout out to the Oni Force who picked up Gifted's just drop here with coffins and took it parabolic. I think you had double the mints that happened before, basically overnight. So Gift, yeah, how are you doing today, bro?
Yeah, shout out, massive shout out and love to the Oni Force fam for putting the blessing on the launch of my own IP coffins that does go to public sale today at 2 p.m. for just $9. You can generate your own awesome, unique coffins art for just $9 starting at 2 p.m. PST is when pre-sale ends at 1, and then 2 p.m. is when the public sale starts. And yes, Oni shared, you know, basically that they allowed me to add all of the wallets to the allow list, and that went crazy. I got botted like crazy. The most engagement I've ever got on a post. One of the posts has like 30,000 views and like almost 1,000 comments on it. It went absolutely insane. There's over 400 when I checked this morning. I haven't looked at it again yet. I don't want to look right now, but over 400 minted already just in pre-sale. And I'm just so excited. And shout out to all y'all who have been supporting, sharing, letting people know, letting friends know, getting on the allow is just being part of this thing, man. It means so heckin' much, and it means awesome. It means so much to have support from a community like Oni Force that's been such a big part of my Web3 journey. So,
all right, one of the biggest grinders in the space here, Huda. How are you doing today, brother? Good to see you in the GM Web3 Morning Show as well. But how are you doing, bro?
Dude, I'm great. And first off, I want to give out flowers, and they're for Gift. Gift, here you go. Reach out. Take your flowers, dude. I know you've had these sleepless nights. You're getting the coffins out there, and you got them out there, and I can tell people love them. I'm glad I got a couple hours still to mint mine. I think after the show ends, I maybe have like 1 hour to go, maybe 2. So I got to grab mine. But just congrats, guys, and also on the show just before here. That was amazing. I love Roger. That was an amazing show. So can I mention something about the market here?
Yeah, absolutely, bro.
All right. So we talked the other day that we were treading water, right? I'm glad that we're still just treading water and we didn't dump. Things kind of cooled off, but really the market is holding its own, and the value of NFTs is actually holding its own. In fact, they're actually up when I checked the Forecast 500 index. So I'm really happy to report that. The big story to me is that the Bitcoin ecosystem, which we saw twice in the past week flip Ethereum, well, it's very close to flipping Ethereum on the 7 days, which has never happened before. People are very salty about that. It is a spicy topic. I'm going to be on the Taproot Wizard space later to explain a little bit about why that's happening and why those really are NFTs. So interesting stuff going on.
All right, great buy-in there from Huda on the Bitcoin ecosystem. We appreciate you bringing in that info. I'm gonna
one of these days, I'm gonna set up an Ordinal's wallet. It's gonna happen. It's gonna
Megapixies, baby.
Yeah.
All right, so Huda, I'm gonna drop your link there, chat. Yeah, dude, I appreciate the information as well. And then now we have Jared here in from 8NAP and Collector's Corner and Squiggle DAO, just all of this stuff that he's building, man. How are you doing today, bro?
I'm living the dream. Other than not being able to get my full podcast set up, and I have to go old school with the corded headset. I'm doing really well. Glad to be here. I appreciate you guys always inviting me back, and I even put on a nice vest for you guys. So
easily the most dressed and nicest dressed person that we've seen on NFT Live in the history of the show.
Best dressed for sure. Yeah,
Dapper as fuck.
Yeah, and honestly,
in a suit.
yeah, it might be the first vest that we've had on the show that I know of. I don't think we've had anyone come on fully vested yet.
I'm pretty sure it's the only ones in Web3. I actually got a lot of flack. It was in a Discord about 8nap, and somebody's like, "This dude might not be legit. He's wearing a suit instead of a hoodie," and I had to like die of laughter. I'm like, wow, it's so like counterculture to the culture that it's hopefully it's a little bit of branding on my own, but it's fun.
Yes, win black hoodie, sir. We're gonna get into everything you're building over there at 8nap and Collector's Corner and these pieces, man. Overall, and I do have a quick trivia question for you as well. But overall, the art scene, the NFT scene, how are you feeling today? I think the last time we spoke with you, it was about 3 months ago, so a lot has happened in that time.
I think the comment of treading water is perfect, right? I mean, I think we've seen a rise up. I think these retracements are healthy, but you're seeing a pretty quick bounce back. And not only is that applicable in like the crypto charts, which I track very closely, I think it's also in the art market, at least, is what I'm seeing. And what I'm really, really interested to see how it affects things is floors are thinning. They're thinning out at a really like if you're looking to exit, it's a very exciting bit of anxiety I get when I'm looking at these thinning floors, but it's also super exciting. I can't wait to see what the next, I'll call it 6 to 8 months holds.
All right, I love that, man. Well, let's jump into what you're doing here in just a moment. But before we get off and rolling on the episode, we are going to try to share out the links and get as many people in here as possible. Also, Gifted's going to hit them with the don't speckle. We do see you guys in chat: Nick Swervis, Marty McFly, CSP, Cats Fanatic, Prodigy. I think we had some earlier that I actually couldn't see. Let me make sure I get to those. Jeff, Jag, and Easy and Crypto. We appreciate you guys showing up early and spamming that chat, man. All right, Gif, hit him with the don't speckle. Biggie Poppins always coming in with the magic. But yeah, let's hit it.
Of course, you got to do it right when I'm out here sharing out the show. But you know what? I'll pause all that. I'll Jared pause on that because it's important that we always remind everybody, no matter how intelligent and smart and dapper we do look, we're not financial advisors. It's just not it. If you came here for financial advice, sorry to break it to you, you're in the wrong spot. If you came here to just hear us talk about cool shit on the internet and art and NFTs and Web3 and our own opinions, then well done. You found the right spot. So like the show, don't speckle, DYOR, NFA. Let's heckin' go.
All right, let's jump into what Jared is building here. Jared, I have one quick trivia question that we got from Roger Dickerman being on our space earlier. I'm going to remove all of us on screen for just a moment, and you're going to try to tell me what is on the background here behind us. Let's see if we can get it. All right, and that is just a small piece. So if you get this, dude, I'm going to be very impressed.
No. I have zero guesses.
Okay, Gift, tell them what it is, because I don't even remember the name at this point. It was some like amalgamation of like 5 different artists together. You're muted.
Oh, that's it. See, I didn't even look at it. I just found the link and I didn't have time. So this is called Parodius Jonathiwo. You get that? Can you spell it?
Yeah, I'm writing it down right now.
Parodius.
The spelling's probably off.
Jonathiwo. And if you don't know about this, Jared Paz, then that's cool because we get to share some alpha with you before you drop alpha on us. This was a collaboration between 4 artists right at the same time of like the crazy Beeple Everyday 69 mil sale. This dropped from 4 artists that are still in the space. And that's how you get the portmanteau mashup name of Parodius Jonathiwo.
That's awesome.
Apparently this just
something today.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Apparently this just started moving, and that's why Roger brought it into our GM Web3 as a bonus on top of the top 5 artists this week that he does as a new segment. This was his bonus that he threw out, a wild card that he took dope. Us. Yeah.
I love that. Like honestly, that there's so many different corners to art and NFTs in general that, you know, we're always constantly learning. So this is fun, man.
All right, let's talk about your small corner here, or maybe large corner. I'll give it to you.
It's growing. It's a growing corner. We're growing it together.
So let's give an update for those people who maybe missed the last episode that we had you on. Give a quick rundown of what you're building and what you were up to today, man.
So I'd like to say I'm a little bit ahead of my time. As 8NAP art was, its intent is to fill a void that I feel in the art space, which is between when a artist finds some level of success and right before they become a X-Copy or Tyler Hobbs. So I want to create an environment and a platform that gives back to it. And I say a little bit before my time because with all the super rare drama and Matt Cain coming out with his contractual obligations and really shining a light on the transactional nature of some platforms, not picking out any type of one, I had the vision of 8NAP art to bring a lot of services to the artists and really help with orienting on their personal and professional growth as part of the platform costs. And in addition to that, I'm trying to create an environment as part of Collector's Corner. For anybody who doesn't know, that's a long-form generative art-focused podcast. I've had the pleasure of getting to connect with a lot of artists, and I want to create an environment where the collectors are able to have some really dope interactions with artists, whether it's IRL in small settings and just creating very meaningful connections between collectors and artists and really contributing to the longevity of the space.
All right, I've got a bunch of great co-hosts up here that probably have some awesome things to contribute and questions, so I don't want to get in your guys' way. What do you got?
Biggie, I want you to go first. You got seniority here.
No, please. You're new, so you get to go first.
You guys are so respectful.
Yeah, hey, our mothers raised us right, I guess. I guess, Jared, I love that you're leaning into the connection between the community and artist. That has been one of my favorite things about NFT. First, it was being exposed to art and learning that I could collect art for the first time ever. But realizing that artists were just as hungry to connect with collectors as we were to connect with them, I found so appealing. I think it's beautiful, and I think it's special and unique to the NFT space. What are those kind of connections and events and ideas that you have for connecting those two sides?
Muted.
Oh, you're muted.
Oh, no.
We lost him.
Oh, shit.
Self-censored, at least.
Type it out.
What about now? How about this?
Yeah.
See, old school corded headphones, man. This shit's not reliable.
Yeah.
The goal here is I have a maximum of 200 passes, and it's to create IRL connection. So one of the visions that I have is when an artist launches, not just putting a Costco platter of food out there and free drinks, but really, having like a dinner or open bars, like where the artist can share the story, where they can connect on a personal level. I want the collectors to feel an emotional connection, not only to the art, but to the artist and the vision that went behind it. I'm going to put I'll give flowers to those who deserve it, but Sotheby's did an amazing job, in my opinion, on the Vera Molnar and Martin Grosser release, themes and variations, where they really leaned into the storytelling behind the art and Vera particularly. And that to me is like, it's important, right? Like art, while it is a financialized asset for us, it's also about, it's about an emotional connection to it. I think you have to love what you collect, and you can hold it for forever. The squiggle that I rock is my PFP will go to one of my boys. In my absence, they can fight over it, but at the same time, I want, there's pieces that I look at and it brings me joy every single day. And I've had the pleasure of connecting with artists through Collector's Corner and Squiggle Down and some other places that it's important, right? Like each one of us is human, and not only the financial upside to things, but also enjoying it. So honestly, I'm gonna be at NFT Paris, and there's gonna be a Bright Moments Paris going on at the same time. I just am in the process of booking. There's this World War II underground bunker that they converted into a speakeasy, and so we're gonna have a little cocktail hour there. Planning on having a dinner at a Michelin-starred restaurant, with a couple artists. So, we want to really create these experiences that not only for the artists, they get to connect with their collectors deeper, but for the artists or for the collectors, do some really dope stuff, right? I'm really intending to over deliver. Then we're getting into all kinds of shit. There's gonna be raffles for pass holders, and I free prints, and we're just gonna do some really dope and innovative stuff to for people to be, really prideful of what they got.
Biggie, go ahead. I think you were trying to jump in.
Dude, I love that. First of all, I need to start looking for plane tickets, apparently. It's been a while. I don't know if you knew that. I lived there for a couple of years, and so it would be really nice to go back. Unfortunately, it's going to be winter, though, I noticed. So, but it's good, dude. It's going to be fun, man. That's something that I've been picking up more and more on the artist side now, right? Like artists really gravitating to particular communities where they feel supported, right? And like acknowledged, and where, like everything is not, again, just speculation, but actually like getting into the weeds of things, like how they created their process. It's something that, I very much agree with you in that, knowing we like to throw the provenance, but I think it's more than just provenance. Like you said, it's the story and the connection to the artist of what you're buying and what you're going to possess. Or when you look at it, you understand it. And if you ever want to sell it, to understand exactly what it is that you're selling, right? Like we've seen some people that don't have a clue sometimes and end up, flooring something where somebody else comes in and it's like, I don't know, lucky day for them, right? Curation platforms, I think, it almost feels like it's both ways, right? Like both the artist and the collector, like feeding off of each other. And I can't wait to see what you're doing with 8NAP, man. And I wanted to ask you, like, what your approach, as you've had a couple of months now where I'm sure you've been like postulating like what you're going to do and what your approach is going to be. Like we got a chance to talk about, like, how are you feeling about the space right now? Like, and what communities or places are you gravitating towards?
So I concentrate most of my time into 3 communities right now. One, I mean, just like you, Biggie, I've been a long time Proof Pass holder. I've been actually a day one holder, so I feel very fortunate to be along the entire ride. I think that there's still a core group of people there that are fun to engage with. Not trying to shill, but full disclosure, I'm a co-host on Collector's Corner, but I actually have 0 equity and I get paid $0. This is purely just out of the love for Aston as a friend. Yeah. And so like the Collector's Corner Premium Discord, for anybody who's looking, there's a free month if you want to hop in and just test it out. It's honestly, it gives me early Proof vibes where it's just like super dope, passionate people sharing all. And then the third is Grailers. Grailers DAO is a Gen Art specific. Token gated, and I think it's roughly about an ETH and a half to get in there. But those are the 3 communities I've been focusing on, and overall, I feel more conviction on the space than I ever have, if that makes any sense. And it's largely due to the fact that the people who are here for all the right reasons. I think that there's going to be an influx, there's going to be a cash grab at the end of the day, but the reality is. I mean, and it's another goal of 8NAP that I haven't talked about is the expansion, the expansion of eyes that get to see art is a primary focus. So, we have pieces that we intend to put on roaming exhibit, whether it's Art Basel or other places like museums and such. And then also in traditional galleries, right? Because I remember when I was a kid, and look, I have 0 art. I never took an art history course. I'm not an art enthusiast. I've never curated anything officially, right? So I'm an engineer, right? Like I'm a corporate guy coming into NFTs, and I think that I remember as a little kid going to museums and looking at art and feeling something emotional about it. And I now look back on that. I turned 41 on Friday, believe it or not. So I'm old as balls too. So it's like, but I like 30 years ago being in a museum and I can remember back on that, looking at art and being like, I could have made that, right? So I want to get more eyes on art, so that way, not only for this next cycle or the next cycle, we're onboarding more people, for the longevity of the space, right?
All right, if you guys have questions here in chat for Jared, please drop them so we can ask. Also, we have a poll going. So shout out to Prodigy, our moderator, who is saying that Web3 attire, is it hoodies or is it a suit and vest? Jared, unfortunately, you're losing that. Oh. Yeah, 60% of the community.
For the 40% who voted vest, I greatly appreciate you, but let's be a realist. It's black hoodies. I got a series of them too. I think last time I was on, I got caught off guard, and I think I was wearing a backwards ball cap or something. So I am a normal guy when not on camera too.
Okay, we had Roger Dickerman on earlier this morning for the GM Web3 show. Gifted, do you have that top 5 list by chance?
So that's what I'm trying to like work on while I'm engaged. And okay. I'm getting flamed by Marty because he's over here. He's like, oh, he's work on his eye contact because he's minting. I'm like, bro, I'm engaged, and I'm also trying to make sure that we get this up. I can't actually share it here. It's just not posted yet. So I'll be able to drop it in the comments here in just a minute, but you can actually see the work in progress. That's it. Number 1, Matt Delorier. 2, Orcon. 3, Joy or John Orion Young. 4, Bats. Or Bats Do, 5 Beeple. Those were his top 5 artists this week.
Yeah,
this week,
yeah. So this is our second time running this, so we're still kind of working out
who's trending means. And why.
Yeah,
who's trending and why. It's just like he comes in with context of like why he's watching them, why they're doing something unique or interesting this week.
So Jared, what do you think about this list? And also, if I can put you on the spot, maybe a quick like top artist that you're watching.
So I would agree with the list. I think what Beeple did with the hiding in everyday and his 3D art pieces is just stellar. And the fact that there's such intelligent people able to find that in no time is amazing. And then I always mispronounce it, but the Orkin, it's awesome. I love the story about how they were out discovered by a major influencer, got their art in the hands of like amazing top tier collectors, and it's just given them so much exposure in the grand scheme of things. So 100% agree with that. I would add, and maybe it's running over on maybe 8 days, but Mount Vitruvius released Trichromatic on Art Blocks, and just absolutely banger of a project. Did quite a run, and it was nice to see in this market that we just had him on a Spaces yesterday, and the dude's just like on cloud 9. He's such an amazing little guy. And I was able in Marfa to preview the project and some of the outputs and give some feedback. So just an all around amazing individual.
That's the Marfa Alpha, the Marf Alpha. That's why we got to go, Q. That's why we messed up, and Biggie was down there, and that's why he's got all the alpha right there. Yes, we were talking about Trichromatic when this popped off. I think it was last week. Yeah, beautiful work. You know, a lot of people saying it does kind of look like some others out there, but I don't care. I think these are absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, it went wild. In just the first 24 hours, these had almost 1,000 ETH on secondary.
Yeah, it was nuts. I was watching it. I was so pissed. I was driving and trying to connect my hot wallet while driving my family and mint at the same time. It was completely not sanctioned by any sort of motor vehicle department, but I unfortunately missed the mint and then had FOMO all the way up.
Yeah, and that floor, I can pull it up here real quick, is actually still holding pretty dang strong there, right around 1.3 ETH. So it flew up over 2 ETH floor there for a brief stint and it's kind of settled back down here, but it's holding strong, well above an ETH floor right there.
Yeah, all right. No, healthy correction.
So Biggie Poppins, I want to get a link to your Spaces here in just a second, man. So I'm going to try to find that and highlight it here while we're still live, because I know you have to jump at any moment. If you want to.
I was just say it, man. I'm so bummed this conversation's already started to be so good. I'll check it out, the replay though. I appreciate that. I'll send it to you if that's cool on Twitter, but I'll take the advantage. I don't want to take up the time. Just say goodbye. Thanks for stopping by, Jared. And yeah, love you, fam. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Good
luck on your creator arc, sir. Love to see it. All right, Biggie Poppins, one of the best creators in the space. We're just one of the all-around good guys in Web3. All right, we got a couple more questions for Jared here. And Jared, feel free to drop anything that you were working on, like literally this week, this month, in any action items that people could potentially take if they're interested.
Do you want me to drop it now?
Yeah, that's fine. Well, I was just leaving it open for my co-host here, but yeah, you can drop it now.
No, I think that the mint pass for 8nap art, it's 1 ETH. You can just go to 8nap.art if you're interested. I'm doing something a little bit peculiar in the sense that I have artists lined up, but I have not announced any of their any of the lineup. So I'm trying to get pass holders who are aligned with the vision of artist support and community building. It's probably the stupidest approach. It's so much easier to sell passes when you just drop a bunch of artist names, but I'm really hoping to be able to curate a great group of collectors first and foremost. So if you have any interest, my DMs are open. Happy to answer any questions, but that's kind of the big alpha. I'm hopefully going to have the first release in December, second one following up in January, February. So it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks in between drops. Super stoked to have the artist support that I have, and we'll just start trickling them out over time.
Dude, I wish so bad I could afford to get in right now, bro. I'm like, the Mint Pass meta has been something that we've been talking so much about, just because it's people like you that are actually going to be doing it right, I think, and making the most and creating a lot of value for people. And that's why we keep bringing you back, because we believe in your pedigree, your background, the history of work that you've been doing in the space, to know that what you're going to be curating and putting together is going to be really legit. And so it pains me personally that I don't have an 8 nap. So for the homies out there, if you can get one for me, please.
Yeah, it's like I said, I'm the worst marketer in the world. I believe in actions over words, and actions will prove out over time, just based on my 2 years of being here and trying to bring more value than extracting. But and like I said, Magic Collector's Corner for free. I love Aston. I'm really trying to like just onboard, educate, and give people the confidence to. I mean, these are big decisions, right? Like squiggles are like 20 grand these days, right? If you're going to spend 10 ETH, 20 grand on something, like I want people to have the confidence in what they're purchasing. So, it's tough, but the blind curation has proven to be an interesting dynamic along my way, but I'm super stoked to have the opportunity.
Go ahead, Q.
Jared, how do you mix having potentially like more known artists as well as like kind of highlighting smaller artists? Because again, that's one of your main kind of missions here, is to kind of bring about more notoriety for smaller artists, but getting that notoriety for 8 nap is having bigger artists. So it's kind of this weird conundrum, this catch-22.
Yeah. So I will say there's 3 dynamics that I'm playing with and have made a commitment to. The first is the established artists, right? That brings the names, it brings the collectors, it brings the revenue. And I like to say that these are typically Art Blocks curated artists that have had a really quite amount of success, but aren't quite like the X-Copy or Tyler Hobbs. And their need is to be able to give them the skill set necessary to elevate them to the next level, right? I have the whole marketing team, marketing coach, executive coaches, like everything from my corporate career that helped me get to where I am, I'm trying to implement at the artist level, because I believe that they could benefit. So that's kind of the intuitive part. I like to call the second phase is kind of like the loss leader, but I have access to so many artists and people drop stuff in that I've made it a mission to drop 2 to 4 what I call emerging artists. And I think that there's also, while it's not necessarily like the most profitable, I've taken on 0 investors. Like I could have easily gone to, I forgot to mention this. I run a generative art investment fund called 8nap Digital Asset Fund. So, I have access to people with deep pockets, but I wanted to do this on my own and out of my own pocket because I wanted to do stuff that doesn't necessarily make sense or scale because it's the right thing to do. So I'm taking on 2 to 4 emergent artists, and it's really going out, hitting the pavement, finding artists that could benefit from this, and give them the platform necessary to grow, and giving them access to the same, like tools of coaches, or the access to the coaches to help them advance their career even more also. So I've already signed like the first one. I'm going to be interviewing and meeting another one on next Monday. And it's just, I look at like what Verse did for Richard Nadler. Richard Nadler was an amazing artist, really, really dope art, but Verse was able to give them the platform to accelerate his career. And I think that that's important, right? So it's easy to ride the wave of big names, but I'm intending to also support people that I think they have so much potential, right? And the market can deal with it. And then the third category is I love one-of-one art. I don't know if any of you guys picked up on it, but I'm secretly collecting a one-of-one collection for my wife. She doesn't know about it. I'm gonna give it to her at my 10-year anniversary, where I have custom one-of-ones made for based off of like a lyric from a song that like means a lot to us. And I just give artists full disclosure, and in doing so, I've been able to create a good relationship with them. And I've gotten 10-year commitments to make additions for my pass holders around a theme. So 8NAP, yes, it's a bunch of random letters, but N stands for noble, A stands for abundance, and P stands for prosperity. And those are kind of my core values, right? I want to have a noble approach to the arena, create an abundance of opportunity for those who choose to ride with me, and then at the end of the day, have prosperity for all, right? So, I want, these big super rare artists, not big, but like notable, right? It's not like I got X or anybody, but the super rare artists who sell for, between 10 and 30 ETH for one-of-ones, to be able to say, for my collectors who are typically Gen Art, to get exposure to that world. So anyways, I'm rambling and shit, but it's a lot of exposure and a lot of moving parts, so to speak.
I appreciate that breakdown so much. Listen, we have 2 questions here, and I think Gift Ed wanted to get in here as well. Gift, do you want to talk about what you were going to jump in for?
I mean, honestly, it's not super important, but you were talking about throwing down at like Michelin star restaurants to create extra special, memorable connectivity and events and things around this community. So I had to ask, are you getting the Michelin Explorers Club?
I am not. I'm not made of money quite yet.
Jared, do you know that? Have you seen this?
I had to ask. I'm sorry. Jared? I had to ask.
Isn't it like an NFT or something?
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it is the NFT.
Oh, is it?
What's that? Who has got something?
It's just one of the few ones that actually, like, it was a new mint that sold out, which we hadn't seen that in so many months.
It didn't sell out. It didn't
sell out.
It was supposed to be 5K, and they cut the supply, but it did mint 2,400.
Well, there's an achievement at least, and I think it at least did it good. Maybe go over mint price on secondary.
It did. 100% did.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, just value being created everywhere by Michelin here. All right, let's get back to some serious stuff. Thanks, GIF. Guys, we're halfway through the episode, so we're gonna jump out of this interview and jump into I guess the fryer, the news here in just a second. CSB saying would love to know what Jared is expecting from FX Hash ETH drops, and if he is targeting any specific artists from those announced. And then we do have one from Marty after that.
Yeah, the FX Hash I think is a really interesting pivot to go from Tezos only ecosystem to what they call FX Hash 2.0. To have ETH-based minting. They do have, I think 9 out of the 10 artists that announced are doing ETH in lieu of Tezos, which I think is an interesting dynamic. But yeah, I can't remember the artist names off the top of my head, but there's 2 of them that I'm targeting. I mean, they have like a 0.05 ETH mint price, and I think that's a very attractive price point.
Thoughts on QQL and lack of overall mints?
Yeah. I think that there should be more efforts to bring attention back to the algorithm and not just have 3 or 4 people posting on there, whether it's a contest or something to bring attention back. It's a beautiful algorithm. I just think that the way the mints rolled out is not what Tyler would have hoped for. So, and quite frankly, especially if you don't hold a pass, which there's a lot of people who hold a lot of passes like Machi, exploring an algorithm is, there's little to no ROI on it for people. So I think finding a way to bring the attention back, even if it's, I know they talked about a marketplace for the seeds or something to allow somebody to have that, give away a couple passes and free mints to bring the awareness in there. There's something, we're in an attention economy. And unfortunately, there's been a lack of attention despite how innovative the project was.
Okay, that was going to be the last question, but I like this little anecdote to maybe a local piece of news within the community. Marty McFly kind of got screwed over by this Chromie Squiggle situation.
I saw the question pop up.
Yeah. So what happened to Yamamoto hopping in, creating all this drama, and then bouncing out?
I will say, I don't know who it is. I have no idea what's going on. I love that this individual came into the space and presented something. I do not appreciate how they filled their own bags ahead of time, or at least were deceptive with people. I mean, look, I think people do it, but it was just the approach seemed shady, and then the way it was released, or like they sold this individual sold into the news and then tried to like. But I thought it was interesting that Cosimo and his team bought one. So it's weird, and then just an absolute silence since then. I'm baffled that somebody could spend as much time unearthing the algorithm, present it to everybody, have this like disruption, which strategically seems to have happened right before Marfa, and then not follow up or try to advocate for something more. So I'm perplexed by the actions. It seemed like it will be a chapter in the Squiggle lore, so to speak, but I'm curious to see how the community rallies around it long term.
All right, Jared, this has been a fantastic discussion, man. Feel free to stay and talk markets with us and Michelin NFTs and all the degenerate shit we like to get into after we talked with you today. Any last words, man? And yeah, like I said, you can stick around afterwards. That's cool.
Yeah, I'll hang out for a little bit. I just want to say thank you for having me and let me to plug all this stuff. Gen Art, if you're having any questions, looking to buy, want some feedback, on Twitter or X, whatever it's called these days, Jared_pause. Happy to connect and help you guys on your journey however possible.
That's an invaluable resource even right there. So I mean, tap in, get an 8-nap pass if you can, because it's going to be lit. I'm excited to see what you roll out. And also we got to get you over on GM Web 3 too, to talk with us over there sometime.
I lurk in the background quite frequently.
Oh yeah, hey,
yeah,
our vibe, our tribe,
great stuff.
Man, here Jared and Richard just chatting would be pretty sweet.
I'm down. I love spaces, and I love just an open dialogue. I mean, I think a lot of this has to happen in order for the advancement of the space.
Yep.
I keep coming on because you guys are all great people, and I really want to support those who are supporting the advancement and the solid growth of the space, and bringing real talk, right? Like real data. I know the Michelin thing was like, it's kind of funny, but it's also like this is the space, right? And setting a good foundation and a good foundation of like listeners. So when the bull comes, you don't make all the stupid mistakes and buy the dumb shit that we all did, 2 years ago. I don't hide any of my NFTs. You can go to my wallet. It's all public. I got a lot of dumb shit in there, and it's like, it's part of the journey, right? Like, so trying to onboard people and help them so they don't make as many mistakes is always fun.
Awesome, man. Yeah, we were talking about the space and kind of our journey through it being kind of like a caravan, right? Like being able to, I guess, like take part in that journey with others as opposed to kind of going on by yourself. So happy to have you, man, in this caravan, and happy to be a part of yours as well. All right, let's get into the industry news for the day. If you appreciated that interview, leave a little like here. If you're watching us on Twitch, X, YouTube, whether it be live or afterwards, we appreciate you guys. Our vibe, our tribe. All right. The poll that we have up right now is Gift the King of taking the show off the rails. 80% coming in saying yes. But I'm going to try to put us back on the rails here. So this is what I got on my dashboard really quick. Parallel. I'm feeling primed today. I am absolutely feeling great, although I'm a little bit underexposed, as we've said every single episode for the last 2 weeks. Phantom Galaxies early access launches today. Flooring is doing adding some rewards to the protocol. Inspect is having their airdrop. The Moons token. So we had that Reddit debacle where they added the token and it pumped, and then they removed the token or their support of it, and then it dumped. Well, Moons is making a comeback, so we're going to touch on that. We have a proof mint here today, I believe, that was in our Telegram chat. So I want to talk about that. Jack Butcher. And I'm going to troll Gifted here later in the episode, but you have to tune in. Huda, I'm going to come to you here after the big winners and losers. So big winners on the day. You the real MVP, which is like the OG collection within Captains, is up 70%. Parallel Avatars up 60%. Michelin Explorers Club up a cool 56%. Rare Pass up 40%. Big Losers Velocity Series, so another mint pass, and they're not doing so well. Shrapnel Operators down 20%. Pixelmon down 15%. Pet Hooligan down 10%. All right. Huda, you're the man on a mission here when it comes to kind of keeping track of the space and the analytics and everything you guys are doing over there at CryptoSlam. So, yeah, give me the lowdown, man. What's going on? What are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean the lowdown is kind of like I said earlier, and it's still that line. It's the treading water. So there's just all these little stories that are bubbling up, and I don't think right now anything's bigger than anything else, except still that Bitcoin story. I still think that is under discussed, and I think it is a big topic. But other than that, I think the things you listed, I think Parallel is a huge talking point. Oh, now that you got it pulled up, I mean, this is perfect to see. I mean, the top 10 NFT collections are almost all Bitcoin BRC20s. That's crazy. I think today they're the number one ranked blockchain. The controversial part of this, though, again, guys, BRC20s are like meme coins, right? They're like the equivalent of ERC20s, and a lot of people don't like that. What makes them different is they're bundled and they're backed by an NFT, and that NFT is traded. That's what makes them an NFT. I believe they're an NFT because of that, because truthfully, when I get into this conversation, it starts kind of fudding our bags a little bit in a way. The underlying assets of most NFTs are fungible JPEGs. I mean, that's just the truth. Unless it's fully on chain, there's a lot of fungible assets that then are backed by an NFT. So I think BRC20s bundled and backed by an NFT are NFTs, and when they're sold, should count here.
Gifted, any thoughts here?
I mean, look, we've been saying that like it is fair. The data is not wrong. It's the comparisons that get you into hot water or don't make sense. And because this, you know how it is. This space is so tribal. Each of these chains is also, represents their own brand and community, and people latch their identities onto a technology and a blockchain in ways that, you may have only seen in other things like the Xbox, Sony, PlayStation, conference. Like, how many times have there just been like technologies and operating systems? Okay, maybe Android versus Mac, versus Apple OS or whatever, versus iOS, Android versus iOS, Xbox versus PlayStation. Other than that, I can't think of that many times where it's like there's such culture built into these tech-focused communities that people will go to battle. So people are out there, making a big fucking deal and like freaking out. I think it's just exciting and cool. It is data, so it's like you see what's happening directionally. So it's good to know, because again, I'm getting more and more interested in seeing more value in what's happening on ordinals, because we see this. But the comparison doesn't make sense, because you're tracking a certain type of thing that is actually due to a technological limitation. Like, you have to wrap these BRC20s in NFTs. And so that's why they're being counted here. It's actually like a weakness or a limitation that you're counting. It's still real volume. But to compare that with Ethereum that just doesn't have that limitation, and so it's counted differently, it just doesn't make sense. So the people that like get too heated about this stuff, it's literally a limitation of their own ability to make sense of all this data that we have.
Right. It's so many things at once. It's a problem that will fix itself. But it's also a sign of the growth and the utility of NFTs in a way. Even while like it's not really designed to do that, the NFT, the fact that people are doing it, the fact that the definition of what an NFT is has to expand. Again, it's just an indicator that NFTs are being used for more and more things. Like most of us believe, most things will be tokenized. We'll have an NFT that backs them. So it's interesting. It also tells us we need better solutions to track these things. And we're hoping that's what our AI bot is going to be. You don't want to see BRC20s in your data, just exclude it from your search. Just say, what are the top 10 collections? Don't show me any BRC20s, and boom, you got your perfect list. So again, it's just a lot of things at once, interesting being the top of all.
I will say, kind of controversial take. I think it's good just to have, I know there's a lot of chain maxis, but at the end of the day, it's more eyes, more awareness, and more collectors. And overall, I think that's good long term.
Absolutely agree.
All right, I want to jump back into the market real quick as I play hot potato with these boxes, because Rare Pass is consistently going up here. It's actually the biggest gainer on the day. Not sure if was an announcement over there from Super Rare, but it is one of the bigger announcements or movers. And then Parallel Avatars, I want to jump into in literally the next 30 seconds. But I will mention, it looks like we're back to ripping here. We're above 2,000 here on Ethereum. You can see that little bounce there on Bitcoin, carrying it over to 37.4 almost. So I'm not sure if there's been a larger macro update on that front, or it has anything to do with any of the regulations or the government moves here up on Capitol Hill or in the Fed. But we will continuously be watching that.
Yeah, I'm curious if anybody in chat knows why all of a sudden the pump. That is interesting. And also interesting to see the rare pass moving. I wonder if that's related to Hackatow, but that news came out, a couple days ago.
Yeah.
So I'm curious there.
All right, you see the Michelin Man on the list. So
Get
so
out.
Jared, just fantastic art. First of all, just really why we're all in the space here with the Michelin Man. So yeah, fantastic. I'm actually not going to touch on this at all. We've been talking about Parallel since probably like we went hot and heavy during On-Chain Summer, which was about 3 or 4 months ago when they had some of their packs drop on the base protocol. We've been hot and heavy. We've been in the game. We've had Mr. Gone on both shows. My question in all of that time was what was the best way to get into the ecosystem? And it seems to be the NFTs. From an investable standpoint, right? Like they also have some in-game utility and all this piece, but the NFTs are up, I believe, now sitting at 0.72 floor. Wow. Like some 300-400%, while the token has risen off I believe a bottom of about $3 to $6, so 2x there. But it seems like the people's appetite to buy the NFT, maybe the lower supply, I'm trying to wrap my head around it, is the way to go. So Shrapnel is one I'm looking at now, where it's down pretty heavily, but also attached to one of the top games in the space, right? So you can see this bounce for Parallel avatars. A lot of this is around earning the token. So they increase the faucet on those tokens. Some of it's just on the fact that people are starting to realize that this game's fun. They've got a good team and all of this stuff. So any thoughts here on Parallel avatars? And I can bring up the Prime token as well.
Go ahead.
No, Gift, please.
My question, I'm literally trying to derail it. So please, if you got a real question, get it in.
It's not a question. It's just, this is a thing I'm always going to kick myself over. Having followed Parallel for, years at this point, I remember watching one of the creators like live streaming his process, talking about his art, and he's like in his bedroom, right? So I'm watching it, and I'm like, something here doesn't add up. Like the art is too good, and the mechanics sound too impossibly great, and it's just this guy here doing it. So I thought it was a rug back then. I didn't buy him because of that. Then I forget that's how great things start. Just somebody with a vision being excellent and being excellent now for years, and that's why you're seeing exactly what's happening now. So just major kudos to them and anyone who did see that early and got in, not me.
I love that. And Q, you were the one pointing out that like when you see a team of devs, of gamers, of game builders, you could apply this to art too, right? To bring it back to the art. Anyone who is so nerdy about their art that they are putting out podcasts where they just sit there for hours talking about the detail and the thought. Like you were talking about, they have these podcasts where the founders are just sitting there like nerding out on all the different like ins and outs of how they're building out this game. And you were like, that's a really good sign. Like it shows how engaged and how much they care about this thing that they're making. So yeah, man, it sounds like that's what you were seeing. You were a witness to some of that early content where they're just basically playing with it, figuring it out, diving deep, showcasing what they're so proud about. And, hopefully people see a little bit of that in Coffins.
This space hates that. This space hates the non-sexy things like two founders sitting on a podcast, but it is one of the most fundamental things.
What this space hates is anything that doesn't pump their bags within a week. Yeah. Anything that takes longer than a week to fucking 10x, anything that requires you to think more than like 2 to 3 weeks out at all, that's what this space hates. Anything long term. That's the one thing that's been the most frustrating for me in the whole space, because I came in from the jump, from day one with Nifty Castle. You can still find it on the original mission page. Was we are here to build something long term. We're here to be sustainable, inclusive, build new paradigms. Like from the jump, I came in seeing the potential of this technology to build great things and revolutionize so many different aspects of our society, both like here in the US, locally in our local environments, but globally to restructure the way that we do different things and redistribute wealth in more equitable ways to creator communities at global scale. Like understanding the possibilities for this tech is what brought me in here. And then to be confronted day to day with the fact that it is just short-term, mindless fucking like, okay, the degening and gambling is fine. But when that's the overarching sentiment narrative driving force, and there's just, you can't get enough people to think past that, that's been the biggest like frustrating point in all of Web3 for me.
That's why the bear and the reset actually is important. Like Jared said earlier, it is those people that it's kind of shaking out, and they do come back, right? But it is important to reset our expectations, reset the prices. It is very healthy and it is very important. So I always appreciate these times. Honestly, no matter how long it takes, because I know I could probably speak for anyone here right now, like we'll still be here no matter how long it takes.
This trailer's brand new, by the way. It's an hour
Trailer
ago this was dropped. Yeah, we are Trailer Maxis.
Jared, if you don't know, we're Trailer Maxis.
I need to get a trailer for 8NAP art.
Yes.
We will play that every show if you have that. Yeah, so showing off the factions here. Not sure if this is like a collectible figurine play. Like you could see in the other pieces on the profile, they have a picture here of a potential character, right, in the trading card, and then what you have is the actual piece. And
they lean into augmented reality, which is incredible. Like they are so deep into tech, it's wild.
Yeah, at this point, it's hard to talk about what Parallel's doing poorly. Like they have so many things that are going on at the same exact time that they are that is just amazing. I will say the PFPs could be better. Like if somehow they could fix the PFP situation, I think that they would get an actual like usage of those on X, which I think is an important part of marketing the product. Biggie had a great point yesterday. I think it might have slipped my mind really quick. Hold on. Oh, here it is. Basically, he was talking about the fact that this Web3 gaming narrative was always going to be proven out from native teams. Like we were like, when is Fortnite going to get in? When is Rocket League going to come in and solve this? It was always going to be proven out by a team that was building in this space from the beginning. And then the bigger boys get in. So you can see it right in front of your eyes here.
Yeah, Jared, I don't know if you got anything to add. I was literally going to ask what's your Rocket League handle before, but like if you got anything to add to this part, man, please go ahead.
There's no Rocket League handle, man. Running 3 different companies right now is taken, and being a present father and husband.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the. Believe me, there was times when, for Call of Duty back in the day, it was Wizard of Pause. How about that for a pause derivation?
Yo, smash the like for the Wizard of Pause.
All right, last pieces here. I'm going to get on to another game that was released, and then I want to kind of rapid fire these news segments because we're almost 10 minutes to go here in the remainder of the episode. All right, so Parallel was bumping off that and a couple different pieces of news. They got added to the Epic Game Store. We already kind of covered that. I do want to highlight the Paragon's DAO, which is a DAO that's building in that ecosystem. They released this tooling, I think, today. Let me make sure I bring it up, called priming, which is basically just tools, I think, for the ecosystem. So you can see there different, I guess you could probably purchase cards from this piece, but you could see different data points around the ecosystem. So yeah, I wanted to give them a quick shout out. I'll drop the link in the chat as well. All right, I think we're done with Parallel and moving into one of my bigger bags. I'll just put that up front. Easily one of my biggest bags that I got into at the end of last cycle. So really hoping that Phantom Galaxies gets after it here. And you know what? Trailer Maxi. So let's get after it. They've always been good for a good trailer. right, I want to make sure I pause this so we don't get copyrighted. Gift editor, you got goosebumps right now? What's happening?
Yeah, I mean, look, we're pausing everything today. It is a full-on pause day. Gotta pause it. Gotta. The Wizard of Pause is here, so
Man.
you gotta pause it.
Just adding so much value to the chat today.
Look.
No look back.
Hell yeah.
I can't hear you, Q.
Some gameplay. What do you think, Huda? Look, I know when Huda comes in, he's actually got something intelligent to say here. So, Huda, why don't you hit me with that?
I don't have anything intelligent to say. I love mech games. It's that simple. Like it looks cool as shit. I am definitely gonna be playing this. Yeah, that's it. It's that simple.
Making me want to dust off my Wizard of Pause handle.
Yeah, well, and y'all aren't alone. That's why there's literally 69 billion different mech games coming out. But it looks freaking dope, man. I was over here like bouncing around, like feeling like I was flying. That was a hype trailer. And I mean, mechs are dope. If you can do a good mech game, could do well. I mean, you know, there's even like big famous ones like Titanfall. There's so many mech games that have done good things. Mechs are even just like popular parts of a lot of different games. It's like different types of weapons or things you can do. This looks cool. So hopefully it actually, the gameplay, you know, lives up to that hype.
All right.
Just because the Animoca connection, I'll always say it's a missed opportunity if we don't get heavy metal mechs in the game somehow, if we don't get the Rec League mechs in there too. Like to me, that was the beauty of Web3, of interoperability, and I hope we see it here. Kind of feel like we won't, but you know, I don't know, fingers crossed.
That's fair. I mean, if we get that crossover, that would be amazing. One of the other pieces I was going to touch on, I don't know if we'll get to it, but like is it's kind of the hangover we're getting from Ape Fest. I mean, we haven't had many Yuga news pieces at all for the past week and a half, other than Gordon. I think Gordon was just carrying that. Let me get to some of these comments really quick. Marty McFly was giving Jared his flowers there. Easy in Crypto saying I'm completely underexposed to Prime. NFT Cutie, I guess it's Diwali right now, so that might be the festive season he's mentioning. So yeah, big shout out. Hopefully you're having a good time. Prodigy saying Yacht's you the goat. He could hear Yacht ramble forever. Don't fade Yuga. Let's see. And Cats Fanatic saying amen to that. People hate long term, but then cry when those long term builds that were so obviously great succeed and they missed out due to their impatience.
Yeah, kudos to that soapbox earlier about longevity in the space. It resonates so deeply with me. It's 100%. I wanted to like scream amen. I think it was a perfect soapbox, and you should clip that and just fucking post it everywhere. It'd be dope.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I wish we still had our executive editor in chief Jacob to clip these up for. Somebody else clip it. I appreciate that, man. And it's real. You can tell it comes from an authentic place, right? These frustrations, these intentions, the thoughts, it's very real and it's raw sometimes. I think somebody else, who was it? Oh, Marty was saying, I hate it when people say NFT people are dumb. I mean, we're NFT people. So it's not that NFT people are dumb. It's that sometimes the way, like the short-sightedness can be toxic and detrimental to the long term. But no, like we don't think NFT people are dumb.
Not at all. And it's both NFT sides. We are NFT people. We play that game too. We all do. It happens. But it's on the builder side too. It's very common to hear like we're building, right? When there's not really anything of substance there. It's both sides of the, you know, kind of NFT space have their moments, right?
All right. Poll, is Michelin Man going to the moon? Y'all are degenerates. I guess not. It basically half. 57%
okay.
said no. So
speaking of clipping things, my man Q over here was absolutely tripping on GM Web3, trying to say that I wasn't the one guy out here saying that Michelin Man was lit, that I loved them, that they were freaking epic. I was freaking out. He was throwing me off of the show. He was like trying to mute me turn my video
Wow.
off because I was having such a good time
None of that
loving the Michelin Man drop. So clip that. Just
Okay,
remember, I'm the one who got it.
I can't wait to find that receipt. All right, wrapping up the Phantom Galaxies piece. The big piece of news, other than the fantastic trailers, that the game is in early access and will be for I think 6 to 12 months here on Epic Games. So the download is ready. It's free to play. You go to their website and you'll be able to actually get into Phantom Galaxies. There obviously is some like earn component. Astropher is the token there. So if you want to get deeper into that, you can just DM me there. All right, MoMA postcards have gone public. I don't know if you guys want to touch on that at all, but that seemed to be a pretty big piece of news. The art component and community was pretty hyped up on this one.
I would love, I mean, Huda, if you've got thoughts, but since we've got Jared here as a special guest, if you have insight on this, because we covered it when it rolled out, but I didn't really go deep. Honestly, it was moving parts that I didn't fully understand the details in it. So if you've got any insight on this project, would love to hear it.
Unfortunately, not a lot. It's something that I've faded a little bit, and not for any other reason than the fact that I didn't quite understand the concept, if that makes any sense. Like, and I hate to, I'm not trying to FUD anything or whatnot, but I just felt like the messaging around it could have been better. I feel like with MoMA being such a big brand in the space, I don't want to say it's failed, but it's a missed opportunity to like really advocate and onboard a greater audience. So I like the concept of it. I like the low entry point, and I like the constructability, and customizability behind it. I mean, there's some big artists, who initially were part of the launch. I just felt like, going back to that attention economy, I think it missed the mark in that onboarding. I hope I'm wrong long term, to come full circle on that long term theme. I hope that there's this falls into a long term plan for the MoMA, and we're just not privy to that big picture right now. But I mean, honestly, after a couple announcements and some Goose derivatives and a few other things, I lost interest.
Fair take. Okay, I'm going to speed through the remainder of these news pieces because we do have to get up out of here in about 5 minutes. Guys, if anything, we'll kind of run back around if anything kind of catches your eye and you want to kind of follow up on it. GIF, this is going to really burn you, man. But the Trump NFT Gala actually happened. So the Trump NFTs had.
What do you mean? I was there. I was a speaker. I was an honored participant.
I am very surprised that the Trump NFT Gala piece was not a rug. This is absolutely the most surprising thing.
Look at that pork. Sir. Look at that ribeye and the pork. Are you kidding?
Who's talking about it like he was there?
Well, I had one of the NFTs, the gala dinner tickets. I sold it. I also didn't think it was going to happen. So I was shocked when the email came through saying it was actually scheduled. I took that moment to list my gala ticket and was out of there. So
all right.
Shocked it happened.
All right, flooring protocol. So we've talked about flooring protocol's effect on the industry, at least in the short term. This is a pretty cool update because what they're doing is allowing basically liquidity providers of FLC, their token, and ETH. That's essentially on Uniswap, I believe, is the biggest pool. It allows the FLC token to exist. Okay, so they're trying to entice people to put in that pool. This is the first time I've seen this. Earn real-time rewards of fractionalized blue chip NFTs. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're offering rewards of like BAYC now and Azuki and all this stuff for actually putting into the pool and being a liquidity provider there.
I think, okay, so this is very convoluted and may or may not make sense at all in the long run. And we're still digging into this. Q and I literally have spent time behind the scenes digging into this to try and get a better understanding. To me, my initial take, which could be totally freaking wrong. So again, I'm just reading this and giving you my initial take of this. It seems like what they're doing is almost creating like an ETF style stock derivative, like a tokenized derivative based on these collections that you can speculate and own that. And that if these collections do well, then these derivative financial products that they've created through flooring also kind of do well. They're correlated. So I think you owning the BAYC or UONI or whatever, it's like you're participating in this derivative market based upon the value of the underlying assets of these things, right? And so it's not that you actually own the ONI or the BAYC, BAYC, whatever. It's that you might be able to get some value if these things continue to grow and do well, because you can trade that on a liquid
And you
market.
can trade it within $5 increments, $1 increment. It's that you don't have to buy a
Yeah.
$20,000 or $40,000 NFT.
And now, if you get enough of that token, I believe you can swap it out for one of the NFTs too. That's how it's worked on other platforms.
You could.
But here's the biggest point. I think the SEC hates fractionalized assets. Hates them. They go after them. They probably, I would imagine, would be looking at this if it's based in the United States. So
my guess is it's a non-US entity. I mean, even for my fund, I'm not even allowed to own an NFT that's like fractional partnership. Like I can't go in halvesies on something. I mean, from a legal counsel, fractionalization is like a huge no-no. So my guess is it's a Cayman entity or something. But I think this is really dope. I think it's for those who don't, like we were talking about a $20,000 squiggle earlier. If you believe in a squiggle and you only got $100, this is such a cool way to get exposure. And I could just see some success stories coming out of it where people flip between different projects and they're able to claim their mutant ape or bored ape at the end of it because they did it so successfully. So I think this is really, really fun for the community.
Yep, love it.
All right, I'm gonna basically just go lightning round on this. Inspect is launching. It looks like their token in Q4 of 2023. This is essentially Inspect is a platform that tracks X analytics, and they have dashboards and all these different things for X. I think GIF, you might even have this installed on your profile and on X. So if you do have the Chrome extension installed, you might even be actually getting some portion of this airdrop.
Oh man, I hope so.
Yeah. So Moon's token, I don't know if it's Moon or Moons. I know Bricks was the one that was part of the Fortnite subreddit, but yeah, it looks like Moon is coming back here. The community is looking to kind of revitalize that project after it was kind of dumped by the Reddit team. And then my last piece here, Jack.
Wait,
Butcher,
real quick, who's trying to revitalize it?
The community, right?
It's
just a token. Yeah.
Okay. So Reddit doesn't give a shit. They're like, whatever. Yeah.
No. All right. Jack Butcher, I believe, is doing his first generative. Wait, I need to make sure. So Jack Butcher, famous for his open editions, correct? I think this is his first generative piece, is what I've been seeing on my timeline. But you guys are way more knowledgeable on this than I am.
Yeah, it's exactly that. I mean, I was shocked to hear it, but then you think about it and you realize, well, yeah, that's true. He hasn't released a generative collection himself yet, so it's kind of a milestone.
Totally agreed. I think that this is part of the reason why you saw the Velocity Pass drop so much, is because the Velocity Pass just guarantees you an edition, no Pepin edition, but then you have access to, I believe it's a Dutch auction for 200 pieces of this. And I think that for the Velocity Pass, it's a little bit of the holder. We're probably expecting a little bit more, but if you take yourself out of your bags and look at this is what Jack's doing, I think it's really, really fun for the space. And it almost feels like, when Snow did the Snow Pepin, like there's a little bit of rubbing off here on Jack and dipping his toes into this for art. It's really cool.
Yes.
Love that. Great additional details, because I hadn't looked too far into it. I mean, it's going to be huge. If it's his first generative art collection, it's going to be absolutely huge. Jack Butcher's one of the biggest artists in all of digital art now. He's literally killed. Like, this has been the year of Jack Butcher, among other things. So it's going to be huge. We know that. So we'll keep following it. Thanks for those thoughts, Jared. I just want to keep saying to Jack, if you're out there, Jack, when merge, I hope you've got something planned for the merge project. I hope.
Gift that's talking to his bags up here. All right, folks,
Yeah.
This is NFT Live here today. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. We sat down with Jared at the beginning. He was talking everything 8nap and his knowledge there in the generative art space. So yeah, super great, just full day. We had Roger Dickerman on GM Web3, and now we get to kind of sign off in the quad box. Hopefully Big E Poppins is doing himself a good episode there. Moonbird Society, Command A plus, so plus A.
Deadbird Society, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Command A, Deadbird Society. Shout out Biggie Poppins, who had to jump out earlier. Shout out Jared. We dropped his X profile over there in the chat again. Follow this man, especially if you're into art and generative art. And if you're one of those NFT people, he's probably a good guy to tap in with. So check that out. Also, have to say this, Q. The Web3 network AI did independently verify that I was the one hyped on the Michelin Man, that I got it and nobody else did. So thank you, to our amazing Web3 network AI chatbot.
Just trolling me today. All right, let's go around the quad box. And unfortunately, we're going to have to end with Gifted, but that who knows where that goes. But Jared, let's go around. Just last thoughts, man. Any parting words before you leave here?
My parting words is thank you. You guys are doing good work, building, bringing on good guests, and really try to bring value to the space. That means a ton to me. I'll support you guys tirelessly, however possible. I think overall, I look at this as I encourage people to look at their bags, develop a plan, figure out what you want to hold long term and what's sacrificial. I think we're on the cusp of some big moves, and just have a plan and execute against it. With a bunch of ruthlessness. I mean, I round tripped 2 previous crypto cycles, and it worked out well for me. But at the end of the day, I wish I would have at least taken some off the table. So, sit down, write it down, think about it. It's going to be exciting.
Amen. Amen to that. Great alpha there.
NFA. But yeah, what he said.
All right.
Yeah, not financial advice.
What do you got, man?
Jared, I just want to say it was a absolute pleasure getting to meet you here, hear you speak on art, something I love. I know probably everybody listening here absolutely loves, and getting your insight was invaluable. So thank you so much. I'm going to be hosting a space from the CryptoSlam account probably on Friday, talking about the Bitcoin BRC dilemma. Gif, I like your pushback. You challenge me, and it helps me think through the technical parts of it, and does it make sense? And if it does, why? And be able to teach people these things. So thank you for pushing back, and you're invited to come speak up there too. Please do join. That's it for me, guys, though. Great show, guys. You guys are again, killing it.
Dude, you're killing
it.
it.
You are as well.
Yeah. When is that space?
Haven't
Friday.
scheduled it. I'm shooting for Friday. I'm trying to get some big co-hosts up there, maybe Thread Guy and Tyler. We'll see. We'll just chatting. So.
Well, all right, Mr. Fancy Pants up here talking with his big old famous friends. Yeah, no, that's dope, man. And we'll definitely try and support it. So keep us tapped in, tag us, all the things, so we can support that, man, because we love and appreciate everything you're doing. Awesome having you back here with us. Awesome having Jared back. Y'all, if you haven't smashed the like, what an awesome day. I just said awesome an awesome amount of times, but it has been truly awesome. GM Web3 with Roger Dickerman. Top 5 artists this week is posted. I can drop that again, but Coffins drops, or the public sale opens, I should say, at 2 p.m. PST today. So I'm definitely going to drop that link over in the comments. If y'all can put some love on it, I'm actually doing a giveaway of one of the Proof of Coffins blueprints. There's only 10 one-of-one blueprints. And if you like, repost and drop 3 friends, tag 3 friends in the comments with your ETH address, you're entered to win one of these. That's the post. I just dropped it in the chat. Go like it, repost it, tag 3 friends in the comments with your ETH address. You're entered to win one of the Proof of Coffins, which is just 10 one-of-one blueprints of the original Coffins designs that I launched about a couple weeks ago. And they sold out. Q got one. Biggie got one.
He did get one.
You can get one now. And that's it. I'll just pull that up real quick just to show it off. And excited and appreciate everybody who is supporting, who's minting. If you can get them, only $9. Open gen, inclusive, only $9. These are some of my favorites that have already minted. Food Mascu got an amazing one. They look amazing. And that's it.
I love it. Guys, you've been amazing throughout the whole episode. Real quick, Marty McFly, NFT Cutie, Prodigy, Easy and Crypto, Left Action House, Cats Fanatic. Who else is in this bit here? Marty McFly, I think I already said it, but you deserve a second call out. You guys have been awesome all the way through. OVOT. Later, y'all. Michelin Man, fight me.